All right,
Well,
we're live again.
We're back.
Well, let's see who joins us. Let's see who's gonna pop in.
Rooting around on this.
Who is texting me here? Oh, that's us. That's my phone telling me that we're live.
On Thanksgiving.
And
Thanksgiving Eve. We're
Thanksgiving.
already here.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already Thanksgiving. Jeez, man. No, but I enjoyed it. It was good. It had that nice kind of epic touch a lot of Polish cinema has, where it makes the everyday grand.
You know what's cool. Kind of funny is it does feel like not the inverse, but like what something like White Noise could have been.
Yes.
Kind of random in some points with a score that feels kind of epic, but it works with the tone.
Let me quickly check here. Oh my God, Monica. Oh, so when you get home, go on Hulu or go on Tubi, and if you want to do a double dip, watch this movie, White God.
Ooh.
It's actually think it's a little better than this movie, and this one is really interesting. This one's from Hungary.
Oh, very nice.
But this one is like, just think of it as like it's like a Marxist parable, but with dogs.
Oh, nice.
It's really interesting. But this one, yeah, I like how this one commented on the human condition and how life is, and how life is like, you have good people, you have people you love, people that are cruel, people that stuff came across well. You know what? I know we talked about how, I know we talked about shorter movies. I think this one actually could have gone a little more. I actually was could have been a little longer.
I don't necessarily agree. I think it had just the right amount. Maybe it could have reshuffled some things a little bit.
Maybe, yeah. You know what it is? I just think I liked it, but the ending for me just felt like quick. It was like, whoa, okay, I get it.
Don't really see. Well, I didn't really see the point of that.
Yeah,
for people tuning in now or who might watch this later. We are starting to talk and have our first impressions on
a Polish
film called Io.
It's about a donkey. Literally, it's the journey of a donkey, basically. And of course, for cinephiles, that probably reminds you of movies like Bresson's Balthazar and films like that, from the point of view of an animal. And I gotta say, it's not bad. It was very interesting.
It was good. Yeah. It wasn't like the under donkey of the year, something like Pig, where you go into it and you're just like, wow, you really connect with it. However, this is the perfect example of a movie that I admire and I respect that it was made. And I definitely don't say that in a condescending way. I think films like this should exist.
Yeah, it was a very poetic, nice film about, you could say, the human condition, but from the point of view of a donkey, of this noble beast, this noble animal. And through its eyes, we get a clear idea of what we are actually like. So that was interesting. That was very well done. It gets a bit trippy sometimes in a very European experimental films way, but that's also not a negative.
No, not at all.
Creative.
I think a lot of things we'll say about the movie. We're not saying them in a condescending way. We're saying we're kind of admiring what it did. I think it's a perfect example of what we like to call a postmodern movie.
Yeah, although I will say it's postmodern, but it's
not pretentious or aimless.
And not too postmodern, because it does, through this donkey, the movie does have things to say about contemporary society and about how animalistic we as humans can be, even more than the donkey.
But animalistic in kind of like an unknowable way.
Yeah,
that especially because what this movie does, which I liked, is it examined like fringe elements of society. And I don't mean fringe like the Proud Boys. I'm talking about fringe like maybe soccer hooligans or people with special needs or truck drivers.
The outliers.
The outliers. That's a better word for it.
And the donkey, because the donkeys are like the ultimate, one of those ultimate outlier animals, right? In fact, there's, and this doesn't spoil a thing, but I loved how at the beginning of the movie they contrast the donkey's social status, I guess you could say, with those prize stallions that it's living within in a corral.
I think that was the best scene in the movie. To me, that felt the most overtly kind of political. That the donkey basically gets taken away from a circus for animal cruelty, and then it cuts to the donkey doing similar things to help to basically serve these majestic horses. There's a nice scene. Actually, the best scene in the film is when he gets put in the stables and this like pristine horse is getting lavishly washed, and the donkey's just like
staring. That was that was a great moment.
That felt very. It's not exactly the same, but
Alba just joined us. So Alba, we're talking about the movie EO from Poland, which is a foreign film contender for for the international Oscar from Poland.
And it's
all from a donkey's point
It's
of
a foreign
view.
film. It's almost a silent film.
Yeah, well, yes, that's a great description. It's a movie that thrives on its images. That you can just watch it and you get it.
Well,
get what it's trying to say.
It's a visual poem.
Yeah.
It's not in the sense that Malick does it, but it actually feels like you're watching I don't know, like a stanza from one of those epic Roman or Greek poets that might ramble on a bit, but it does try and tackle
Oh no, exactly. Oh, the name is EOE. Literally like the letter E and then O. EO. And you can check out the trailer right now on YouTube. It's she says, I'm going to watch Bardo on Friday. Now go watch EO.
Go watch EO. It's shorter and probably has more to say.
much shorter than yes, exactly, EO. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes, that's that one much more interesting than
But you see that's
Bardo,
the thing that kind of kills me. Even if it's a movie that I don't absolutely love, I admire that. Once again, we talked about sincerity. It felt like the filmmaker had something genuine to say about examining outliers in society through a donkey who doesn't understand anything that's going on.
Well, yeah, he finds, in a sense, a pure subject to become his guide through the world in the movie. And it's actually very, at its best, when the movie really works, it's actually very eloquent and very very expressive in a wonderful way. In fact, I love how after the movie was over, I mentioned how he even finds a way to use the donkey to express how in life sometimes we have these close calls where we find ourselves in situations where by a hair we avoid tragedy, and then sometimes tragedy catches up to us and kicks us pretty hard. All this happens to the donkey in the movie, and it's actually like you said, it's a tone poem. It's a very nice cinematic
and it touches
poem.
on the uncertainties in life, and as we mentioned, walking out, it's kind of interesting that we saw White Noise, which is a random film that was made, or it seems like it was made by someone on drugs.
Yeah.
And this film, which does have some, I guess, hallucinatory elements, feels incredibly intentional.
Yes,
but the randomness has a point, that sometimes in life these close calls are a product of like.
Well, and the hallucinatory elements I thought worked because it's almost this idea that to the donkey, the world must seem, the world of people must seem pretty strange and hallucinatory.
Just like a donkey wandering through town might seem strange to the
humans, and it's an interesting way of capturing how, yeah, if you think about it, modern life, many times we're so used to it we don't realize how weird it is and how surreal and bizarre it is, and it almost takes the vantage point of a donkey to
Right.
comprehend
No,
the
and
weirdness of soccer hooligans, for example.
Exactly, and I think that's that cohesiveness that kind of kept the movie from falling apart by
Yeah.
using these vignettes of the donkey getting to these situations.
You bring up an interesting point, which I think also makes the film work. Is that it's in vignettes. It's not like the director tries too hard to streamline a plot involving the donkey, because life itself is very much vignettes, right? We live our lives, and our lives run a certain course, but our daily life is full of moments, right? It's moments
that do
with
have
people.
some sort of connection through the physical presence of us making it through those moments.
Exactly,
And-
which is
and-
what happens to EO.
And I think it is kind of interesting that the contrasting it to White Noise. Obviously, it's the most recent thing we saw, but it's a movie, as I said, that's random. It's made up of vignettes that are supposedly telling a cohesive story, but to me, it didn't.
Well, also the difference is White Noise, Baumbach is trying to satirize American culture without a cohesive thesis, I guess you could say. This movie has a very clear thesis, which is that this donkey is a noble creature trying to just live and be free, and it has to face the perils of life like we as people do, right? We go out into the world, and then we have to face everything that comes with the world, and that's what happens to EO. You know, we won't spoil how, but he faces everything that the typical things of life, right? From the threat of violence to having to fend for yourself to meeting good and bad people, and
Everything in between.
kindness, charity, cruelty, all these things.
But also how the donkey kind of is a stand-in for the gaze of the camera itself.
Yes.
The way, in a way, the way that we might watch a Jeffrey Dahmer miniseries or anything that deals with aspects that we aren't familiar with.
Right.
And we have this fascination with it in that kind of perverse way.
There were these great fishbowl shots, these fishbowl lens shots in the movie that really make you feel the point of view of the donkey, right? Like how would all this look if you were actually seeing it through the retina of a donkey? And as I said earlier, if you want to see a similar movie, actually a much more superior movie, there's Bresson's Balthazar, which is probably the best donkey movie ever made. I'm not kidding. It's the best donkey movie ever made. But this one, I wouldn't ever say it's an equal to it, but it's a nice introduction to that kind of storytelling from the vantage point of an animal. EO, it hits select theaters in LA. It hits New York this week, and then it comes out in select theaters in Los Angeles on December 2nd. So
Support it.
Support it.
It deserves to be
nice.
supported.
Good
as
Polish
I mentioned,
cinema.
I think it's the classic example of it doesn't need to be the best film ever made. It's certainly not the worst, but it's something that I think is respectable and needs to be made. We need to have these unique, coherent voices, and hopefully they keep developing. I mean, this guy has been making films for a while, but I hope he keeps developing this voice and inspires other filmmakers to make kind of out there, but coherent.
Yeah,
movies.
well, be creative, be bold, but have something to say, and it's a nice, you could call this movie an experiment, but it's a nice one because the idea is coming across well. I won't again spoil, but I will say my only qualm was just the ending. I thought the ending was a bit abrupt, but
well, the ending and then the little text at the end, it's like, that's
Oh,
not really what the movie was about.
yeah, that felt strange. Yeah, that there's a post and well, there's a title card at the end that tries to then give you this sort of PETA style spin to the movie, but you don't really get the sense of that throughout the movie. It's not really it's not a messagey movie about animal rights. It's
animal cruelty. Yeah,
animal cruelty. I mean, it has a lot to say about.
Well, it has those elements, but it's not what the movie is about.
Oh no, not at all. No. Yeah, it's not like what was that movie? There was a nice one, a documentary last year about it's all from the point of view of a female pig.
The black and white one.
Yeah, on a farm. I forget the name, but that one definitely had a very clear message about why we shouldn't eat animals, etc. Whereas this one, it has a more universal feel to it from EO's point of view. Good old EO. If you haven't seen the poster, check it out. The poster
is probably one. Actually, it's one of my favorite posters of the year.
Yeah, the poster's great. Well, because okay, I know donkeys are supposed to, in a way, donkeys, cats, dogs, right? They all look like donkeys, cats, and dogs. But the donkey they selected for this movie, and then the way the donkey is captured and framed and filmed, there is this individualism they find in the donkey.
Right.
It almost feels like if you bump into EO at a petting zoo or at a farm, you could probably still recognize him and know that's specifically EO.
It's an inquisitive look. It's that kind of inquisitiveness where you're trying to wrap your head around a world that you can't comprehend to begin with. You still find it fascinating.
No, exactly. The cinematographer in particular captures that very well. That's and the editing also plays a big part in how it gives you the sensation that the donkey is a creature trying to comprehend what's happening around him and what is going on. And
but some things are incomprehensible.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how we feel sometimes about life. It's not just the donkey; it's also us. We have our own our EO. I don't think EO is pondering mortality or anything like that. Who knows, right? But
just trying to make sense of the immediate surroundings. Why am I here?
Which is what
I mean. The most basic questions.
Which is how we feel on a daily basis.
And sometimes football hooligans can be a little too much to handle.
A little too much, especially Polish ones. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us for this quick surprise review of EO, a Polish movie coming out, like I said, in New York this week. And next week, select spots here in LA. I believe it's screening at the Arrow, actually, on the 30th.
Definitely go support it.
Very nice.
This is the kind of art that you should support. And I think we even talked about it in White Noise. You don't have to necessarily connect with every movie, but there's artistic merit that you can objectively say stands out and just needs to be admired a little bit.
No, exactly. You're happy this movie exists.
Absolutely.
like you're happy EO is going to be on the big screen. And it's actually Poland's official submission for the Academy Awards.
And it won the jury award at the Cannes Film Festival.
It won the jury prize at Cannes this year, yeah. So it connects with people. It's found a way to connect with audiences.
It might not connect for everyone, but
give it a chance.
But please give it a chance. It's definitely not. I'm not going to say it's not. It's not difficult to get into. It's not like watching Koyaanisqatsi where you really
well, yeah, that's well, because that's a full
or even Malik's experimental stuff like Knight of Cups. You really need to like.
Well, it's not as this one's not as free flow as those films.
However, you still need to just take a little. You need to give yourself the mental breath.
Go with the flow of it.
Go with the flow and just try and see it on its terms.
Because it does have a coherence. It's the journey of Io, the donkey, and how he finds himself in just one episode after the other in life. The way the human life is, of course, different from a donkey's, but don't we find ourselves all of a sudden entrapped in situations, or don't we change where we live once in a while? Don't we end up
make an ass of ourselves sometimes?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. don't we find ourselves in unpredictable situations, and don't we have to get to know people before we can trust them? It's different for a donkey, but it's still part of the bigger pattern of all life on Earth. Well, on that note, thank you for joining us, those that are tuning in, and happy holidays.
And we're still working on our Michael Mann, our second episode. That's still in the works.
Check out our Black Panther Wakanda Forever episode, now streaming on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave your comments, please. Subscribe to our channel and to our Instagram page. Please follow us. And we're also on Facebook.
Leave us comments or hate mail. Any engagement is great.
Yes. Anything that adds to the conversation.
Yes. All right.
Everybody.
Have a good evening. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And we'll be back soon with something.
Something in a post-Turkey Day world.
In a post-EO Turkey Day world. Indeed.
Day.
All right.
Long live EO. Yeah.
Bye.